You are joining Making a Difference with Melissa Clark, a new show that shares the compelling stories and voices of well-known and everyday people who change the world in big and small ways. Enjoy our guests, call in, or just listen to be inspired. For this show was made with you in mind. Please join us every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our special guests. And you can listen to our recast at www.melissaclarkshow.com.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us here on Making a Difference. I'm Melissa Clark. We are celebrating Labor Day this weekend and saluting all the hard workers who help shape this country into the goodness that we know. Since we are slowly getting back into normalcy, we wanted to have some folks on with useful information for us to get back to life safely. We invited philanthropist and the president of the Sumerian Group, Alfred Zaccagnino, and we will discuss their product, H21, an eco-friendly hand sanitizer. We asked chapter leader of her school, Dana Battaglia, to come on regarding what is needed in order to feel safe going back to school and what the teachers demand. But first, I spoke to dermatologist Dr. Stephen Hess to discuss skin protection during the pandemic. Take a look. We are here joined by Dr. Stephen Hess, a wonderful dermatologist. How are you, Dr. Hess?
I'm quite well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. You know, it's so important to learn about care for our skin. Dr. Hess has been practicing dermatology for 10 years. And how long have you been doing cosmetic in your office?
So actually, it's a little more than 10 years. I was thinking about that. It's 12 years now.
12 years.
Post-residency. And I've been doing cosmetics the whole time. Although that's something that we've really expanded in my practice over the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years. We've really started to focus on that. You know, I'm a board certified dermatologist, and I really understand all aspects of skin, hair, and nails, and we do the medical side of things, but we also pride ourselves on the aesthetic side and the cosmetic side of dermatology as well. And it's nice to have both ends of that spectrum covered. Is how I would probably put that.
Thank you very much. And tell the audience what you did to my chin. We also have an audio side, so people are going to see this on YouTube, but tell them what you did with my fillers in my jaw.
So we didn't put so much in the chin, but we did your jawline, and we injected the filler kind of back from the angle of the jaw down along the jawbone, the mandible here. And what we did in doing that is recreate a well-defined jawline. So this angle should be straight, and then there's an angle that comes down here, and so this jawline has become very very well-defined and angled, and we sort of contoured that to make that angle perfect and make that jawline very strong. And we did both sides, and I think it made a real difference.
It really did. Because I had lipo here from Dr. Shafai. He did such an amazing job. It's just, I gained a little bit of weight. You know what I mean? So all my weight always tends to go over here in my neck area. And also you did Botox for me as well. And you had asked me if you can lift up the left part of my eyebrow, because it was kind of just like, you know, down. And it made a huge difference.
Yes, we injected some Botox into your forehead, as I remember, and we gave you a little bit of that eyebrow lift on the lateral aspect of the eyebrow. We brought that up a little bit, so it opens up the eye, which is great. And I think that your left eyebrow was a little lower than your right. You had a little bit of an asymmetry, and we were able to correct that with the Botox, and that really opens up those eyes and allows us to see those beautiful eyes, and it puts your eyebrows in that wonderful position. So we were able to accomplish that with the Botox injection. I'm very happy with that result.
Thank you so much. Can you tell somebody who wants to get Botox for the first time and they're frightened to get it done? What can you tell them to make them feel comforted? Because it does help with your face.
I mean, Botox is just a winner, and it's a home run for everyone if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
And I think it's the easiest place to start in terms of injectables and cosmetic treatments in the office. It's the easiest place to start. First of all, the injections don't really hurt. We use a very small needle, and the product itself is not painful. It doesn't burn when we inject it, so it's very tiny needles. Um, So that's the first thing. I mean, the biggest side effect we see is occasional tiny amount of bruising, but it's very safe. And when I'm treating someone for the first time, I always like to be very conservative when we start the treatment. We can go very slow with this. We can inject a little bit, and then we can always add more to it. So if someone's nervous, people often express to me that they're nervous it's going to change their face or they're going to be frozen, and we don't have to do it that way. We can start very conservatively, and we soften those lines and wrinkles, and we can usually start with the forehead area or the frown lines in between the eyes, these frown lines that people don't like, and we can be very conservative, and then we can always add more later. So Botox is usually the place people will start with injectables. Fillers, of course, are another nice thing to do, but Botox is sort of the best place to start.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah. I've been getting it since I'm 31 and I'm 40 now. So it just kind of, just helped me a little bit because like you said, I have a very small forehead. So I always have a wrinkle there.
Yes.
And now it's gone. So I want to thank you so much for all the wonderful work that you did on me. Thank you very much, Dr. Hess. I want to talk to you about the pandemic and skin. You and I had a conversation in regards to the mask. So we'll start with the mask and then we'll head over to the hand sanitizer. But what do you recommend as far as how long to wear the mask for?
Well, what I would say, of course, we need to wear masks when we're out in public, but I would make sure to wear, when you get home, you want to take the mask off. So you don't want to, don't drive around in your car with a mask on. Don't wear your mask at home. Take it off as soon as possible. How many times can we wear the same mask? I would say you could wear a disposable surgical mask for 2 or 3 days is probably reasonable before getting rid of it. And if you have a cloth mask, or some kind of washable, reusable mask, again, I would say probably 2 or 3 days before you'd want to wash that mask. You don't necessarily need to wash it every day, but you don't want to wear it for 2 or 3 weeks and let dirt and sweat and oil accumulate on it, and then that's next to your face. So that's not ideal. So I would say 2-3 days is a reasonable time frame.
Do you recommend the medical mask as opposed to the cloth mask?
I think for most people, I actually like the cloth masks better. And there are a number of different fabrics that are available. Cotton masks are nice because that's a natural fabric and it's very breathable. I have a nice, I don't know if you can see this, I have with my logo, a nice neoprene mask, which I like, and that's washable. So that's also a good option. I do sometimes wear the surgical masks, or actually something even a little more than that, like an N95 or a KN95 mask. I wear that when I'm doing a lengthy procedure in the office with a patient and I need to be in close proximity to someone for a long period of time. But those masks are more occlusive. They're going to trap more moisture. They're going to trap more oil and dirt. And I don't think they're necessary for most people who are in an office setting or going to the store or something like that. I think a cloth mask is probably your best bet, or one of the lighter weight surgical masks that are disposable. I don't think most people need to wear those heavy duty N95, KN95 masks, because that's going to cause more problems in terms of maskne and skin irritation and things like that.
There's the hand sanitizers because, we have so many different kinds of products. Which one do you recommend to use so it doesn't cut your skin and your knuckles?
Right. So hand sanitizers, essentially the active ingredient in hand sanitizers is alcohol. Some concentration, a high concentration of an alcohol is what's in there. So that, of course, is going to dry out your hands. The ones I like are the ones that contain moisturizers. So you can find hand sanitizers that contain moisturizers. but you want to avoid ones that have fragrances and a lot of dyes and colors to them, because that can irritate the skin.
Right.
So find one that's clear, if possible, no fragrance, no color added, and if possible, one that contains a moisturizer. Those are your best options for hands.
Okay, so let's talk about skincare. What SPF do you recommend to wear for sunscreen?
So for daily use, I like an SPF of 30 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
And 30 should be sufficient if you're talking about a facial sunscreen, a moisturizer with sunscreen. SPF 30 is really what you're looking for, 30 or higher. Now, if you're going to the beach and you're looking for something for your full body, I actually recommend going higher than 30. And the reason for that is most people don't apply enough sunscreen and they don't reapply often enough. So when you're talking about body sunscreen for the beach, if you can get an SPF 50 or 70, that's even better. But for face, you're going to put it on once a day in the morning. I think an SPF 30 is the way to go.
And how long would you recommend staying out in the sun for people who go to the beach? We still have a couple of more weeks left of the beach. How long should you stay out in the sun?
That's a tough question to answer. Part of it might depend on what you're wearing. Are you wearing protective clothing? Are you under an umbrella? Are you wearing sunscreen and reapplying your sunscreen? In theory, you should be able to stay out all day at the beach if you apply sunscreen and you reapply it every 2 hours as recommended. And again, depending on skin type, for someone who's very fair skin, red hair, freckles, they're not going to be able to tolerate the sun as well as someone who is more darkly complected. So it's kind of tough to answer that question. But I would say if your skin starts to turn pink and you're starting to get that sunburn, at that time, you need to think about getting out of the sun.
And when should we be worried with any moles that we have? I know each year I go and I get a full body screen. Do you recommend that? And some people don't go and do that. Yeah.
I do. I recommend that to all my adult patients to do a once a year full body skin check. I usually recommend starting that at about age 25 to do that yearly. And in terms of moles, basically, if you see a mole that is new or changing in any way, that's cause for concern. So by changing, I mean if the mole is getting darker, if it's getting larger, if it's becoming raised, if it's itching or bleeding, changing shape, any significant change, or a new spot that wasn't there before, that's something that you would want to see a dermatologist about.
And you should be wary of your hands and feet, right? That's the first thing that you check?
I think it's important to check everywhere. So hands and feet included. So the thing is, people can have moles on anywhere on their skin. Even in their scalp, hands and feet, sun-covered areas. And skin cancers can develop in those areas as well. So there's sort of a misconception that skin cancer is only going to develop in places you get a lot of sun, and that's not exactly true.
Right.
So it is important when you are looking at your own skin to look everywhere, and when you go see a dermatologist, they really should be checking your entire skin surface.
And they even check in between the toes too.
Exactly, that's important. You know?
Now tell us about your career. Why did you pick dermatology?
Well, I came to dermatology sort of late in the game. I was in medical school, and I did a PhD as well in immunology. I did a combined degree program. So I did an MD and I did a PhD in immunology. And while I was doing my PhD in immunology, I got involved in a side project looking at melanoma. And I realized that immunology, the study of the immune system, kind of really meshes well with dermatology. And then I did a clinical rotation in dermatology and I fell in love with it. So I didn't grow up wanting to be a dermatologist. I did want to be a doctor, but I thought I was going to be, an oncologist or a surgeon or something like that. But I just fell in love with dermatology and the rest is history.
So now your office is getting back to normal, right? You have your patients coming back to the office. You guys are still keeping the social distancing and...
Yes, we're following all the CDC guidelines and the Pennsylvania Health Department guidelines in terms of opening. And I feel like we are mostly back to where we were. I would say I have 2 office locations, and I would say that we are probably 90-95% back to where we were. We do have some patients who are a little concerned coming in, mostly elderly patients with pre-existing conditions. But I do feel it's safe to come into the office in the way that we're handling things.
Yeah, I felt very safe when I was there. You have a brand new office and it's so beautiful. I started a little bit under construction, so I can't wait to come back and see it in its finalization. Thank you so much for being here. You can find Dr. Hess in Preferred Health Magazine. We wrote an article on him, and we're so happy to know him now. So his office is located at 1500 Walnut Street in Philadelphia. And then you have another office, Dr. Hess. Where is that located?
So that is in a town called Downingtown, Pennsylvania, close to Exton. And so we have a second location there as well. And you can also find us at our website, www.centercitydermatology.com, and on Instagram at centercitydermatology.
Thank you. We'll put everything up on our website, and we thank you so much. Be safe.
Well, thank you for your time. Take care.
Thank you. Alfred, thank you so much for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to meet you. How are you today?
I'm great, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I received this wonderful product. We're going to get into Alfred's career and everything about him, but the reason why I have him on going along with our episode is this wonderful product, H21. And this is a hand sanitizer. Tell us about this product, Alfred, please.
Well, H21, I have one here too. Is, this here is the calming lavender.
Mm-hmm.
This is a hand sanitizer. Everyone should always wash their hands for 20 seconds with soap and water. But if you don't have that soap and water, this hand sanitizer is the second best thing you can have.
Right.
And you can have it on the go in a school, in your home. And you use the product as a substitute for washing your hands with soap and water.
Mm-hmm.
Soap and water is 20 seconds, and we've all seen, what you're supposed to do to properly wash your hands. Over here is just, I can demonstrate for you a little later if you like.
Yes, we're going to go through that together. Yeah. What I like about this product is that it's not sticky and it doesn't smell.
Exactly. We've all tried the products that I've been in supermarkets and bought hand sanitizers like everybody else in the States, where you put it on, it smells like bad alcohol or bad tequila.
Yeah.
That was part of our movement to come up with a hand sanitizer where we are guaranteeing that it's going to be a good quality product and it actually feels soft on your hands.
It really does. And it has an essential oil in there too. So the ingredients is aloe vera as well. So that keeps everything. Let's demonstrate, if you don't mind. I'd like to do a demonstration because I know that you're in the middle of finalizing a video to demonstrate for the children how to use a hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Okay.
And so here, H21, you open the cap,
Mm-hmm.
you just squirt down, then you just, between your hands, like right here.
How much should you be using, Alfred? How much is enough?
With one pump.
One pump.
One squirt down.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it. And then just air dry. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is this particular one that you and I have is calming lavender. It's a favorite of many. When you're done and you smell your hands, it smells like refreshing calming lavender.
And it's not sticky at all. It's
sticky, soft on the skin. And this formula, it's taken weeks and weeks and weeks of working with people in our factory out here in California that know what they're doing to come up with a high quality product. First impression is the lasting impression.
Yeah.
We want anyone who tries this H21, and when they first try it, I love this thing.
I love it so much.
We've all been in the stores when we buy it, oh my God, it smells like tequila.
Yeah. Yeah. And half of them have been recalled and bad for your health. This is all eco-friendly.
Yes, it is. And this is made in USA.
Yes.
Our factory is here in the good state of California.
Mm-hmm.
And, but you never want to be single source reliant with any given product. So you should be diverse. We all know what happened in Mexico.
Yeah.
Where anybody buying a product from Mexico, I was in a Costco and there was this big sign up saying, if you bought all of these brands, please return it or destroy it. And
really?
Like, comforting is that, so we realized we needed to send out a message to build consumer confidence,
Right.
which has been lost due to the people that just, went forward and said, hey, I'm going to start a hand sanitizer brand
Yeah.
to make money and take advantage.
Take advantage. Exactly.
Our first 10,000 bottles, we gave away to charities. We made zero. And we continue to be highly focused on charities, which we can get to later.
I love it so much. That's what I like about your profile here. You're a giver. You're a giver. You're an investor, and just an amazing person. And you work with the Boys and Girls Club. Why is it so important for you to give back? We were talking before, and you're a guy from Bensonhurst, a fellow Brooklynite. So why? And now you're in Beverly Hills. So you come back and forth. You're bi-coastal.
Yeah, there's ports here. Obviously, California, coming from China. So the bottle and pump is manufactured in China. I think a helicopter just came over.
Is it a helicopter?
The bottle and pump comes in from China, so we need to be nearby to the ports. It takes an additional 5, 6, 7 days to get empty bottles and pumps across the country. Okay, so we're situated here in our factories here. All of our materials are here to quickly assemble products, produce our products. So it makes sense to be here in Orange County, San Bernardino, California. Here we are in Beverly Hills, and partners are out here. I'm 10 days here, 10 days in New York, until the point in time where I'm comfortable and my team is comfortable that we could go forward and not worry about any screw ups here. Early on in venture capital, as being an investor, you need to have your finger on the pulse, eyes and ears on everything, and just be a watchdog. And that comes from the roots of being from, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, and combination of having street smarts and business smarts. Yeah. Comes into play today.
When did you start your business or being an investor?
So I used to be an air traffic controller, if you know that. And so I retired early, being an air traffic controller in my early 30s. And then started surrounding myself with people who are older than me, wiser than me, healthier, more educated, happier, and the list goes on. And learning from these people in my circles. And I've been learning for the last 17, 18, now 19 years. We'll continue to make mistakes. We're all going to continue to make mistakes, but the key is learning from them. Yeah. And surrounding ourselves with people who complement our efforts. Absolutely. And that's the long answer, I guess, of saying how long have I been doing it? It's still a curve. It's still a learning curve.
Of course.
We are, a direct result of the people who surround us. So for the last 17 plus years, I've been around very good people that I've helped transition being an air traffic controller to being an investor and a consultant for some names you heard of.
Well, you are the CEO for the Sumerian Group. When did you start that?
Over 15 years ago.
Nice. And
started with little real estate deals, and then investments in different, when real estate crash happened in 2008, I worked on a deal with a hockey franchise, then pivoted there, got involved in the entertainment industry a little bit, which is a very tough industry.
Yeah.
And then went back to focusing on, growth, innovation, technology, development, and so on. And this year started about 5 months ago, week 1 of the pandemic.
Yeah. So tell us the story of how it started. Please.
Sure. Sitting on a couch about week 1 of this pandemic, everybody getting depressed, watching the news.
Yeah.
Ended up saying, wait a second, what business can we get into now? Everything is tabled or stopped or paused, whatever we want to call it.
Right.
And I said, we look at a very well-known name brand in hand sanitizer. And so I researched them and I said, wait a second, their max capacity are 360 million bottles a year.
Yeah.
And there's 300 million Americans. And if every American goes through one bottle of hand sanitizer a month, and you
Right.
do math to that, it's a couple of billion bottles or more of hand sanitizer needed. And if the mammoth of the hand sanitizer business can only do 360 million pieces a year,
Mm-hmm.
and the States has a demand for a couple of billion bottles a year, there's a big void here,
Right.
and we need to move. And
Yeah.
so I rallied up some relationships that are well loved, that back me and I back them, and very special people.
Mm-hmm.
And they all agreed. And then we started H21.
I love it. So every person I saw that every person who purchases one of this product, you donate. What do you donate it to?
Variety of different charities. The
Mm.
Kids Bay Boys and Girls Club has been in my life for over 12 years. I met them through a dear friend and colleague of mine, Ray Negron, who was with the New York Yankees
Yeah.
organization for over 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And year after year, during the month of December, I'll donate, cash and toys and goods to the kids of the Bronx.
Love it.
And so that's how I met Daniel Quintero, who's the president of the Kids Bay Boys and Girls Club in the Bronx, nearby the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And I practice relationship preservation, right? So any relationship in my life, I want in my life for the long haul,
Yes.
not to be one and done.
Sure.
Like most of the brands today in the hand sanitizer industry,
Yeah.
you're never going to see them again. They're going to
Right.
be one, you know.
It's true.
This will be around forever. So using this best business practice across all of my channels, I established the giveaway for the Kids Bay Boys and Girls Club with my team members of H21,
Mm-hmm.
as well as a food bank in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And now only next week we're donating bottles of this hand sanitizer to almost 400 schools in the New York City
Thank
public
you.
education system.
Thank you.
Something like 20,000 bottles or whatever they need. We'll give it to them. Because
That's
whenever someone buys a bottle of H21, we're giving away a unit to a charity organization or an educational
Wow. Yes.
institution in need.
Yeah.
So the more these are sold, the more we give. And how's that for a complementary relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They need that right now. The schools are they're demanding supplies that the elected officials are not really given. So we're going to find out today. This is actually pre-recorded. This is going to air on Saturday, but we'll find out today, which is Tuesday, of what's happening. So the elected officials need to do something about this because you got this wonderful man here helping people out. So I really appreciate you guys doing this. This is Calming Lavender. What other scents do you have? And I think I said it before, but I want to reiterate it's an essential oil.
Yes. So there's aloe vera, vitamin E, organic lavender oil. That's this particular product. It's, again, the favorite.
Yeah.
The other one we have is Awakening Citrus, which is just more of the typical citrus, the Mammoth brand in the hand sanitizer industry. It's similar to in fact, it's almost the same exact formula as that.
Yeah.
But that's basic, where, it's like smelling hands, like, oh my God, I have alcohol in my hand.
Yeah.
Where we wanted to change that up and say, hey, it's a steady, consistent supply and the smell is always the same. That's what we have here. The other product, which is, again, the Awakening Citrus, is very similar to the brand you heard of.
Yeah, if I can just say, sometimes when you put the hand sanitizer on, you get these like little pieces of particles. This is just nice. It's like lotion.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And I thank you so much. Where can people purchase this?
Well, on Amazon.
Okay.
We're on Amazon.com under H21 hand sanitizer. We are across, we have H21.com, our website. You can buy directly from the website as well.
Sure. We'll put it on our website as well.
Yeah. And soon we will be in retailers, Home Goods. I'm sure we've all heard of and shopped in Home Goods.
Love it.
And a couple of other retailers you've heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Imminent. And so we're excited to be available on retail.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, especially during a pandemic and the fear that this pandemic may come again this winter, worse than ever.
Yeah.
We need to give people access, online and through e-commerce. So it's my recommendation that if someone wants to, stock up on hand sanitizer, to do so online before the winter.
Yeah.
And speaking to the people who are much wiser and more educated than I, especially on the scientist level,
Yeah.
This pandemic is not going away anytime soon.
No, I know. I was told to stock up on food before November hits.
Yep.
So we don't know what's going to happen, but we just got to pray. How did you handle this pandemic? Did you ever think you would live, in this pandemic? I mean, this is crazy.
It's good question. I think some of us felt something was going to happen. That's for another conversation.
Yeah, we're going to, yes, that is right. Did you feel it? Well,
yeah, I gotta tell you.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later. But
we will. And before this, this can be validated by a couple of my team members and partners, Michaela Mangat, Mark Schneider, and Murtaza Akbar.
Mm-hmm.
I had conversations with them before the pandemic hit that we're gonna come into a product.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what we were talking about, but I was leaning on everyone heavily, team members, saying there's a product in our future, and did not know that the connecting source is going to be through a pandemic, and having something like this where we can have a business to it and have philanthropy 12 months a year instead of every December.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of how it came up. I felt like something was going to happen and would speak to the...
You're not alone. You're not alone. I've heard that plenty of times. So yeah, I want to have Alfred on talking about something else. So back to this. What's your next step right now? You have anything coming up?
To get home for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah. Home to New York?
Nice town. The weather's great out here, but
yeah,
it's good. It'll be good to get home to family and take a break for the Labor Day weekend. And then next week we are, giving away the large chunk of these to the Board of Education.
Thank you.
System. And that's all of next week. And then the week after that, I'll probably be out here. So it's always just a back and forth. These are the next steps. We are producing this now in all different sizes, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, 1 liter, 1 gallon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And very important to us is to keep up with the demand.
Absolute.
And
we really appreciate everything that you're doing and everything that you do for the Boys and Girls Club and the other charities that you support. So I'm happy that you have money to help other people. There are some people out there who have money and they don't help. So thank you very much.
And you know what, and if there could be one message to those other people, how hard is it if you have a really good idea, just have it a part of your business plan and have truly from the heart say, here, as I succeed, everybody else will succeed too.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I allow that message more than anything to echo in eternity.
So Mike, I just want to ask you one quick question, and then I'll let you go. What advice would you give to somebody who has an idea, but they're afraid or they don't have the money to do it?
Good question.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Thanks.
Speak from the heart, because there's nothing more powerful than speaking from the heart and speaking with passion.
Yeah.
Like when I was done, as an air traffic controller and I came into the real world, people made bets on me. If someone makes a bet on you,
it's pretty awesome.
You make sure you deliver. And if you don't deliver, say the reason why. Yeah. And try again.
I love it.
And try again and try again, because that's recognized. Not everybody has a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had terrible ideas over the years. Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you try and try again until you get it done.
That's
Never
right.
give up. And things will come along. So if you do have an idea, if anybody has, send it. We're an investment company. Send it our way.
That's right. That's right.
SumerianGroup.com. So you could drop that down there, and
You got it.
we're always interested in learning of new opportunities, because it always starts somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate having you and your intelligence in helping people out there.
Well, thank you for having me. This is great.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much to Dr. Hess and Alfred for that useful information. School is starting to open next week, and teachers are not rushing to erase the chalkboard amid COVID. It's not because they don't want to work. It's because the Union Federation of Teachers have 3 demands. We are here with chapter leader Dana Battaglia of a public school in Queens. Dana and I have known each other for over a decade. Dana, I'm so excited to have you here, and thank you so much for sharing and being the voice for your school. Tell us, what are the 3 demands, please?
So the United Federation of Teachers has 3 demands: a safe environment for not only us, but for our students, for our own children, for our families, and for the communities. So the 3 demands are supplies, a detailed plan, and a test and trace system. So within those supplies is called PPE equipment, personal protective equipment, which schools are supposed to be supplied. As of right now, we were asking for, or we were supposed to be given, masks, gloves, gowns, goggles, signs, decals for the floors for social distancing, electrostatic machine to clean the classrooms, and new air filters.
Right.
Out of those things, my school personally, and I know that this comes from other schools as well, we only have masks and electrostatic machine. Now, to use that machine properly, you need training and you need a special solution. We have not been provided that. We need a plan, a protocol that's in place. God forbid a student has signs of COVID. Do you have a room? Do you have people that are willing to man that room? So every school should have that protocol in place. I know that it's on our school website. All the public schools should have that already laid out for the parents. And the test and trace system. We've seen already in other states, people go back to school and they're shut down within the week. Well, why does that happen? It's happening because nobody was tested for this virus before walking into a building. So why should we put ourselves inside a burning building per se, if there are things that we can do to prevent all of these things from happening?
So would they do their temperature? I know every time I go into to go get my nails done, or a place where I'm going to be for a little while.
We were provided 2 thermometers for a school that's going to have approximately 200 children in it to start. If we have 4 entranceways, what are 2 thermometers going to do? I know that many principals, and mine included, who is wonderful, purchased extra thermometers, purchased PPE equipment for the staff. He bought us face shields. He's buying us whatever we need to be safe, which is not his responsibility to do, nor any principals. It's the city's responsibility that we're walking into these safe environments.
Is he buying this out of his pocket? Our
budgets were all cut this year. All of our budgets were cut. Teacher's choice money, which any teacher knows, we get X amount of money every year to purchase supplies for our classroom. That was taken away from us. So it's not like the teachers can even go and buy our own things on our own.
Wow.
Taking that money away from us.
So if and when you do go back to school, you're going to have a shield on, you will have a mask on.
Yes.
Will you wear gloves, or what's your interaction with the children once you go back to school?
We have not been given any clear guidance on what is supposed to be expected when we go back to school in only 10 days. Our classrooms are only going to have between 8 to 10 children on any given day. I'm sure all of us know how to social distance. We're adults. But this is going to be a difficult task, I think, for the children to do. More so.
Wow. How are you feeling in regards to this? Are you mad, or like, how does a teacher feel?
Yeah, I'm upset. Well, I've been teaching kindergarten for 9 years in my school. And for me not to be able to hug a child who was upset, what do you just go sit in your seat? It's going to be very different this year than it is in any other year. It's going to be very different. I am concerned that there are going to be children who aren't going to be able to keep their masks on. And do you tell them they can't come to school? I just feel that if the masks are so effective, then the social distance is so effective. Why should the child have to wear the mask if they're sitting in their seat? If they take it off, I'm going to have to ask them to leave, and those are my orders.
Really? A 5-year-old?
5-year-old. Some of them are 4.
Wow. Oh, that's got to be so hard. How is this? Sorry, Dana.
I'm sorry. It's just sad. It's sad for children coming into school as a first timer, because this isn't how it's supposed to be.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. You have oh my God. I didn't even think about that. You have kindergartens coming in for the first time, and they have to cover their mouth with a mask. And
public schools have 3-year-olds coming in, 4-year-olds coming in. There's a 3K program. There's UPK that has 4-year-olds. They all have the same rules. Some children coming in are 2, turning 3.
Have you been teaching this whole time since the pandemic? How is?
Yeah, since March we've been teaching.
How has it been, Dana?
Oh, it has been a roller coaster. Teachers were thrown into the wildfire. We were given 3 days to figure out how to teach remotely, and I think that most of the teachers in the city have done a wonderful job in doing what they were built to do. As educators, we're supposed to learn new things, sometimes not as rapidly as we were put into this place to do, but I think that many of us did and went over what we expected ourselves to be able to accomplish.
If you had a chance to talk to the elected officials, what would you say to them regarding this?
I would tell them that you had a long time to try to come up with a plan of what this might look like for September, or if an event like this ever happens again. And they are supposed to, as their job, provide equipment and guidance and safety for the people in the city. And it's not that teachers don't want to work. We want to work. We just want to make sure and ensure that we are safe and we are in a healthy environment for all. Remember, children are going to be walking in this building and going home to elderly grandparents. I'm going to come home and I have 2 young children. I have parents and a father who is not well. So I don't want to put myself in danger, or my family or my community in danger, when it's their responsibility to keep us safe.
And what if the union decides to go on strike? What do you think? How do you think this is going to affect the children?
I think that our union is working very hard to make sure that this is something that does not happen. Nobody wants this to happen. And I think that the children would be affected by having, a delayed start. Nobody wants to not work. If we have to start remotely until the DOE and the city is able to give us what we need to ensure a safe working environment, we all would be more than happy to walk back into those buildings come September 10th. If they can't ensure that, I don't think that anyone would want their child to walk into an unsafe environment.
Thank you so much to the Sumerian Group for donating a case of large bottles of H21 to Dana School in Queens. Head over to h21.com. That's the letter H, the number 2, one.com, and purchase a bottle. Remember, every bottle that is purchased, another one is donated to someone in need.
If you have a vegan product, make your vegan claim official with the only accredited vegan trademark in the world. Visit www.beveg.com. That's www.beveg.com to apply now. Making a Difference is sponsored by Preferred Health Magazine. Please visit www.preferredhealthmagazine.com today and subscribe.